Guys, welcome to NYLFTV. I am Kenny Saintville. I am joined by two of my guys. I'm here with Geoff Magliocchetti of On SI, and I'm here with Gabe Zoda of SSN New York Liberty. We are here after the New York Liberty drop 89-81 against the Phoenix Mercury. Tough loss last home game of this month. But Geoff, let's talk to him. What happened tonight?
And it was unfortunate. When Jonquel Jones goes down, it deflates the entire room pretty much. You could hear a pin drop in Barclays Center when it happened. Fortunately, Jonquel's a lot tougher than any of us are, and she walks off with minimal assistance from Terry Acosta and the training staff. But you could tell how serious it was from the fact that she couldn't even take her free throws at the end. The injury occurring, of course, on contact with Sammy Whitcomb, former New Yorker, as a matter of fact. So it's unfortunate what happened. She couldn't even take the free throws, so by rule she could not return to the game, which that should tell you the bit of the severity of it. But the fact that she did seem to be moving around is a good sign. She was walking out of Barclays Center, appeared with her right ankle in a boot, no crutches, but Kennedy Burke also mentioned after the game that she was in good spirits, so that's also something to take away. And the Liberty have built themselves margin for error at this point, so I think that's a good thing. Obviously, they're defending champions. They're 10-2 right now. That was a big common theme, I think, at the end of the day with these players. Natasha Cloud in particular mentioned, it's 2 losses. There's no head hanging. There's no lack of chemistry. It's not the end of the world. They wanted to really assure that. So this is a tough loss, though, and it doesn't take much. Sleuthing to see where exactly they missed Jonquel tonight. They were outscoring second chance points 26-2. They were horribly out-rebounded on the offensive glass, but at the end of the day, still managed to keep it at an 8-point game, even while all that was happening and some of their regular scorers were struggling from the field.
Absolutely, and as Geoff mentioned, Jonquel Jones did hurt her right ankle. I actually did walk out with her as we were leaving the scrum, but yeah, she was also in great spirits. Did have the walking boot. But with Jonquel Jones' absence, we did have a big performance. We had Breanna Stewart score her first 30-point game of this season. She moved into second. This is her 14th 30-point game in New York Liberty history. She moved into second all time. We do know her and Sabrina will be going back and forth with this 30-point history. But, Gabe, let's talk about Breanna Stewart's performance tonight trying to will the New York Liberty.
I mean, she's great, right? One of the greatest of all time for a reason. 35 points in this game. Literally just did everything to try to will this team back in it. And, guys, they were in this game even after Jonquel got hurt. That was a big thing that I noticed that we talked about. I know you asked a couple players post-game, kind of the energy dropped after JJ went out. And that's 100% true. But, guys, this was a 68-68 game at one point, and they were very close throughout this game. In the third quarter, they had that big 11-1 run that really brought them back into the lead of the game. So they had a big chance to win this game. It wasn't like, it just kind of the wheels fell off after JJ got hurt. That's not what happened in this game with Breanna Stewart going off for 35. With, Sabrina Ionescu didn't have a great shooting night, but she was getting to the free throw line a lot. I think she had 9 free throws in this game afterwards. So just trying to be effective in any way possible. Tosh had 10 assists, I think, tonight in this game and was just facilitating as much as she could. And there was that big run where they were getting steals, getting the fast breaks. The Barclays was going crazy. It sounded like the finals in that building. And, they were in this game. And I think that's kind of the more frustrating part about this when we were talking to players after the game. The fact that there was an actual shot to win this game, even after JJ went out. So they kind of didn't have that excuse to fall back on, even though ultimately it was the reason why they lost. You look at that offensive rebounding battle, got absolutely destroyed. The biggest number I looked at was just the total amount of shots that they took. They got outshot by 11 shots in this game, and most of that was because of those second chance opportunities. And they shot better from the field, both from the field, 3-point line. So usually when that happens, you have more fast break points, you're feeling, okay, I think we won this game, especially when Stu was dropping 35. But when the other team is doing what they did down low, it just makes it so much more difficult. Obviously, that's where you miss JJ so much in those spots.
You absolutely miss JJ in these spots. And I don't know. So they definitely were out-rebounded. So when I look at the 3-point attempts, Phoenix shot 31 3-point attempts, and I'm thinking about these offensive rebounds. Even with JJ there, I think it's still a little bit difficult to get those rebounds, especially when they're coming off of those threes. Those rebounds are usually like longer balls, and Natasha Cloud kind of mentioned it. She said it was kind of an effort thing. And, you know, obviously Stewie had a great game, but our also, another superstar player is Sabrina Ionescu. And Sabrina Ionescu, she kind of struggled from the field today. She was 3 of 16. What did you see from her tonight, Geoff? And where do you think she kind of struggled against Phoenix's defense?
Nice. So I think we saw another case of Sabrina expanding her game a little bit. She's improved so much from year one in the sense that, you know, even on a night where she's having a very un-Sabrina Ionescu night, she nonetheless has a Sabrina Ionescu night. She was flirting a little bit with a triple-double a little bit. She and Alyssa Thomas a little bit. It was great to see them kind of do battle go in there in the fourth quarter, really working on her off-ball movement some more, really trying to work on her defense a little better. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out the way it was tonight, but one thing that stood out to me during the pregame was Sandy Brondello more or less asked, she didn't say this verbatim, so I'm paraphrasing right now. This is kind of my own words on this right now, but where is Sabrina Ionescu's MVP case? And that seemed to, she basically did say where people should be talking about more, because of course she was coming off back-to-back 34-point nights, and like we were saying, like you guys were saying, she and Stewie are destined to share that 30-point game stat for a long time. So that's going to be really interesting. And Sabrina really has put the V in MVP in various different ways this season. She's really improved the mid-range game. And again, unfortunately, it didn't work out tonight, but it was a team-wide effort, save for Brianna Stewart, of course. But, but help is on the way in terms of this road trip. There's a chance to get better. This was the first time they were truly tested all season. This is the first time they faced opponents with consecutive winning records. So this is a chance for them to keep the ball rolling, keep moving forward, and I'm eager to see what they could do on this trip.
And you saw tonight kind of another experience. We always talk about experiences with this team. Sandy always talks about building on those experiences. Now that helps when you get to a playoff run. Tonight, Sabrina, she was getting trapped. She always double-teamed off those screens, or something she talked about in this very seat in the post-game that, hey, I was getting trapped. You can't really expect me to do much with the ball when I'm getting doubled immediately off those ball screens. So what does that allow you to do? Now you have some film on that different coverage moving in, whether it's this road trip or when you play Phoenix again in about a week from today. You see that, and that's an experience that the team gains now once you get into the playoffs. If you see something like that, all right, how do we adjust now? And I think that's super important for Sabrina to see, but also the team to see that now you have that on film. You see how they tried to expose that kind of overuse of those screens and all of that. So now you're able to really learn from it, go to the film, and I think, yes, she struggled mightily tonight from the field, had way too many turnovers for her liking, but at the same time, it's a building block. If I would have told both of you guys, if I would have told Alfred, who's sitting in the back of this room right now, if I would have told you guys, after 12 games, the Liberty are 10-2, we're all happy about it. And I think right now, after a loss, we all kind of sit here and we all get so down about it. And this is kind of Tasha's message as well after the game. It's like, we're 10-2, folks. Like, this is a pretty good place to be at. We can overreact about this one loss tonight, and that's fine. But they're doing well.
Well, let's play devil's advocate here.
Go right ahead.
Before anything, because they're 10-2, but looking at these matchups, they lost once to Indiana. They came back. They played Atlanta. Yes, they trailed by as much as 17 points. They came back. It was a great win. And then you have this game today. These are all playoff teams that they've seen. I know Indiana's kind of underperforming with Caitlin Clark's injury, but I'm still putting them up as, one of the top teams in the league. And, them seeing Atlanta, them seeing Phoenix now. And we're going to go ahead and see Seattle next, correct?
That's right.
So these are all, playoff teams. And to kind of see them struggling a little bit, should there be any worry or any alarm right now, not feeling any consistency on the defensive end? They're not guarding the three-point shot that great. Like, should Liberty fans have any sense of worry right now? Just to play devil's advocate, I know they're 10-2. But against the playoff teams right now, what do you think about it?
Not an amount that is not – I'm sorry, Gabe. But not an amount that isn't manageable. I think we can all agree that, look, good teams know how to do the little things extraordinarily well. And if there's this one thing that this Liberty team could do, they've taken care of business. I mean, look, Bill Parcells said, "You are what your record is." And again, this Liberty team is 10-2. There were untold amount of pressure on this group, considering what's to follow. This one might be even more nerve-wracking, considering what's to follow. Like, was part one a fluke? If I obviously don't think so, but there will be that sentiment around the league. But we're seeing players rise to the occasion. We're seeing, again, Sabrina and Natasha Cloud to a lesser extent. I know her stats aren't, conventionally attractive in a sense, but I think you look at the plus minus of her game by game, and it's really something. They're putting the V in MVP in a way.
Absolutely.
And that's really hard to do. It's always shocked me that Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart win these MVP awards, because it's really hard to put the V in MVP when there's so much talent, so much firepower. I know both Liberty and Las Vegas kind of steer away from the super team moniker a little bit, but at the same time, gotta call it
what it is. Yeah.
So when they do that, it's hard to kind of become an MVP, I felt. But obviously, Stewie and Asia have not had that issue.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's still hard, but players are doing it. So there can be a little panic, but not an amount that is not manageable.
What about you, Gabe? What do you think about that?
I was about to say, I mean, you're playing playoff teams. You're going to struggle a little bit, right? And when you get into those playoff series, they're, 3, 5, and 7 games now in the finals. So if you lose one, guess what you do? You adjust. They lost one tonight, and guess what they're going to do? Adjust. And it goes back with that double team, with those screens. Like, they were mucking everything up. They were getting in the passing lane super well. They were doing a great job on that defensive end, where the Phoenix Mercury. So, I mean, the Phoenix Mercury, they played their game tonight, and the Liberty kind of fell into that game. And whenever we talk to Jonquel pregame about like a tough matchup against a physical team, she always says, "All right, we have to kind of set that first punch." And tonight, I don't think they did that. They kind of got punched first, and it was all reactionary from there. So, I'm not too worried. You can't be too worried. But when you play playoff teams, it's going to be a struggle, right? Not every game's going to be that Connecticut game.
Yeah, it's always going to be a test, and I love these kind of tests, because they did, as a contending team, you're doing what you're supposed to do the way that you started the season, kind of beating up on teams that they're supposed to beat on. And right now, we're in a period where they're without Leonie Fibich, who's also Leo's on every key player of the next team. She's guarding every team's best player, and then being in a position like losing Jonquel Jones. So just putting that into perspective for all Liberty fans, for everybody who's panicking now. I know I was playing devil's advocate, but just wanted to set that up to let everybody know, do not panic. It is not the time. So obviously in the loss tonight, what are the positives that you'll take away from tonight's game before we get out of here?
Are you giving us an Aaron Rodgers relax? I like that.
Yes. I'm giving exactly what I thought about just now. But we're not going to shout out Aaron Rodgers. He played for the other side. I'm a Giants fan here, so I can't. I don't know. But yeah, what good takeaways can we take away from tonight's game?
I mean, look at Satu Sabli's stop line. I think that was something that really stood out.
Yeah.
Gabe, you mentioned it, as a matter of fact, I believe. So.
Yeah, I mean,
have a way.
She shot 4 for 18 from the field, 0 for 8 from 3. I mean, Satu is, we all know, she's a fantastic player. A lot of Liberty fans wanted Satu on this team, right? So we know how great she is, and the fact that you can stop her from getting her what she wants, on a possession-to-possession basis, I think that's a good foundational start. And fine, you lose this game, but I do think without Leo, without JJ for a majority of this game, only losing by 8 points, I think that isn't that bad, right? When they lost to the Fever, once again, no JJ, no Leo, so that's the common factor. When this team is healthy, they don't lose. When this team isn't healthy, they're going to lose a little bit, because guess what? They're not at their best. So what do you expect? They're keeping it close. So I think those are definitely two big positives here. And stop turning the ball over, by the way.
We didn't say that. They didn't stop doing
I
mean, look, I think
19 turnovers tonight.
I think that one thing that kind of didn't work in their favor tonight was in the first quarter they made mistakes, but they limited the damage. They lose 7 turnovers in the opening period, but let up only 2 points after that, I believe. New York knows how to manage its mistakes. This was the third period so far this season where they lost at least 7 turnovers, and they're 1-1-1 on the scoreboard in that span. So I think that's a lot. That's good. That's a good stat to carry. I mean, not the best stat to carry, but at the same time, You manage your mistakes. You keep your head up. Their body language is so improved. I think you never see anyone lower their heads a little bit. You never see anyone lose their cool. We could talk about the way the officials managed Phoenix's emotion tonight.
Yeah.
But it's good to see the Liberty never put themselves in those situations a little bit. So the energy is always kept positive. So I think that New York makes mistakes, but they know how to manage those mistakes really well, and that's really the hallmark of a championship group.
And what do they do about situations like this? Because I'm looking at the scoreboard and I'm looking at a Monique Makani. Only because Alfred's in the room as well. You know, we're talking about international player rookie. She had a phenomenal game. She was 8 of 12 from the field. She had 21 points against the New York Liberty at Barclays Center, as Coach Brondello alluded to. She looked like an all-star tonight. How do the Liberty avoid situations like this happening? You know, especially talk about Makani's performance, and how does the Liberty avoid this, like, from happening? Like, Natasha Cloud's on the other end, Sab's on, like, we can't let this happen.
Yeah, fantastic player. But at the end of the day, I will say, when you're playing these really good teams, right? AT had a great game tonight, but the idea is to let those players that aren't the ATs, that aren't the Satu Sablus, let them beat you. And if they beat you, tip your cap, move on. And obviously, you know, great player, 21 points tonight, and we see that effect that the international players have on this league, you know, year to year. But if you would have told me once again that, hey, it was a player off the bench. It was a player that doesn't get a lot. You know, isn't one of the star players that beat you tonight. I don't put that much stock into that, me personally. She got hot. You know, it is what happens.
That's what made Game 5 of the finals such a treat, because, you know, yes, the Liberty's regular star attraction showed up, but who wins the game in the end? Nier Sabli and Leonie Fibish.
Yeah.
And this is the second time it's happened, because who's leading scorer on Tuesday? Tahina Paupau over in Atlanta. So I think, again, I think Gabe nailed it in the sense that you can live with the idea. Force the other guys to beat you. Again, another football reference. What did Belichick say? Make him throw the Manningham that won Super Bowl. And that's kind of
what they did.
That's pretty much what the Liberty are doing at this point. They are forcing teams to go to their other options to seek out.
They're going to Manningham.
Yes, they're going to the Mario Manninghams of the WNBA. So I think that's almost a compliment, you could say, that works in New York's favor a little bit. But when you're able to shut down like star attractions, you're able to at least linger in games. And when the Liberty lingers, good things tend to happen from a metropolitan perspective.
Good things tend to happen. Again, the New York Liberty fall to the Phoenix Mercury, 89-81, and they are off to a 10-game road trip off to Seattle. 4 games on the road. Coming back home, what is the record, the New York Liberty record, after coming off of this 4-game road trip?
I think they take 3 or 4, so 10-2 right now, 13-3. They'll probably win your division. Another football. Damn it. I can't stop. I'm sorry, but yeah, 13-3.
Long snapper here.
Oh.
You know, so what do you got on this road trip?
I got the same thing.
13-3.
13-3.
13-3. I'm gonna go out on a limb here, guys. I don't wanna say 13-3 like they have. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna say that the Libs are going to go 2-2 on this road trip, and they'll come back 12-4.
I mean, it all depends on it all depends on kind of the Jones absence, I feel.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's good because who knows? Again, Jonquel seems to be in good spirits, but I think the Liberty have managed injuries really well. It would have been like the easy thing to do to play Jonquel on Saturday and say, oh, we want the Commissioner's Cup. We want to stay undefeated in that stretch. Oh, that'd be great, but they didn't, and put up, let's be honest, a fair fight against a mostly full strength Fever team, because both Clark and Cunningham were back. They were missing Bonner. I know. I know she's not. I know she doesn't have the impact she once held. But at the same time, they did give that team all they can handle. So kind of depends on the health of Jones. But I would not be surprised that. But that's a good thing about this group. The ironic part about a supposed super team is that you're only as good as your depth stars and as your role players take you. So, and that's something that's really improved as time has gone on over the past 2+ years. So I think they're capable of that, whether Jonquel plays or not. They're capable of a 3-1 mark. Heck, they're capable of 4-0. But you know, let's be. But you know.
We're going to pump our brakes. We're going to respect the opponents and everything like that. But at the end of the day, the New York Liberty are playing good basketball, but we want to see them playing great basketball in September, October. So they're on the right track. I think they're on the right track. Gabe, you got anything else before we go?
Nah, man. I love this team. I love this crowd, by the way. Once again, 16,000 fans. If I don't know when you're putting this up, but if you're in the NYC Metro, get your free Shake Shack burger.
Yes.
Shout out, I forgot.
Alyssa Thomas.
Shout out AT for that.
We watched a championship last year. I think that's the loudest Barclays Center has ever been.
Yeah, so shout out to the fans. I love it. Everything they did tonight for Juneteenth, Unity Night, that was great. I love this fan base. So.
Hey, look, we might need to change the name of Unity Night. Back to back losses. Last year was against Connecticut. This year, against the Mercury. I got to do my research on the year before. We might have to change the name to Unity Night. All right,
the togetherness occasion.
The togetherness occasion. The togetherness get together.
They do have a winning record on Ellie's birthday now, though, I believe.
Exactly. So. Here you have it. I am Kenny Saintville. This is
Geoff Magliocchetti.
Thanking you for your time and insight.
Oh, he stole it. Wow.
My guy, Gabe Zoda, my guy. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching NYLFTV. Peace.